and now the customary part where we select one of your fics to read. Well, you select one of your fics to read, and we read it. So, which story are we doing, and why?
We're doing Stone's Embrace, which is my Discord fiction. Why I want to do this one is because this is the one I am most proud of. This is the one that I put the most work into. This is like 6 hours of work. And it's actually, I think, one of the least known of my fictions. And it's kind of sad. This is the one I wrote to get on EQD, which is why it's so long. I tried to get it on EQD. And luckily, I got a reader who actually gave me a bunch of advice. And I'm going to try and follow it one day when I have the time and redo it and resend it and hopefully get featured on EQD. Don't know about that happening, though.
Fingers crossed.
They're kind of really, really picky there, so...
Well, okay. Without further ado, let's just get our tabs changed to the fic.
Give me one moment. I was going to read it on my iPad, but it's dying.
Ah, that's
So
not very healthy.
So I have to pull it up. Yeah, dying is bad for your health. Very bad.
You never know, it might be good. Fresh take on life.
Well, I don't know. It sounds pretty grave. No, that was terrible. I think that was my worst fun ever.
You're addicted to this. Yes, hello guys, once again. Sorry about the brief interruption. Pyro is here now. Pyro's here. Yeah. So, yep, we are just about to begin the fic reading. We will be doing it paragraph by paragraph, starting with Chaotic Harmony, then me, then Pyro. And we will repeat. Hope you enjoy.
He sighed mentally as he thought to himself. You know, you would think that being turned into a statue would mean that you wouldn't feel anything. It should be that if you get turned into a stone, you feel as if you were asleep the whole time. I'm disappointed it isn't like that. Being awake all this time, without changing, is starting to become tiring. Discord heaved another mental sigh. I mean, come on. Would it kill the elements to give me something to do in here? I can't even move around a little. Unable to change facial expression, Discord put on a mental pouty face. It's just not fair. I mean, Luna got a whole moon after she was blasted. What happened to me? I get turned to stone, unable to move a muscle. And then she gets out and gets blasted again by the elements. And then she's turned back to a princess. What happens when I bust out again? I get turned into stone. Again.
Discord did notice something new in his garden today. A large orange sign, coated with some reflective material that flashed in the sunlight. Of course, it was probably just some grand sign announcing his presence to the world. Celestia would do that sort of thing, placing a sign where no pony would want to go. She was always doing small things to try and annoy the spirit of chaos, but she had no idea how pitiful her attempts were. Luna had a lot more variety in how she annoyed him.
As if she recalled, Luna, in all her haughty glory, trotted towards him. There was pity in her eyes as she gazed upwards into his. She began to walk around him, looking over his vine-ridden statue. He kept his eyes on her and as she studied him in his petrified state. That was a strange thing about being petrified. You could look in any direction that you want. Discord wasn't one to complain, though. Being able to look around has something to keep me sane all these years. Of course, there had been no pony else in this garden for a long time, and vines threatened to overtake every statue. As his mental state declined, he was saved by Luna's visiting him. He remembered the first visit with a certain fondness, recalling the first painful conversation.
Luna had been snooping around this same garden, looking downtrodden. Discord watched her from his stone prison, wanting to reach out and pour a little bit of chocolate milk on her. Of course, that wouldn't make her happy, but it would stop that pitiful sad face and only make her angry. Unfortunately, the spirit's prison prevented him from doing this, so he contented himself to thinking gleefully about it. Luna had walked slowly down the pathway, sighing occasionally as she thought of her problems.
That poor little Luna, left alone to cry all by her lonesome. She is so unfortunate. The spite in his thoughts had surprised him, but he did nothing to halt those thoughts. Look at her, able to walk around and have fun again. She's able to eat and sleep and go to the bathroom. She does what she's meant to do, raise the moon. Do I get to raise the moon? or calls any chaos. That's a big N and a big O. Discord's triad in his mind silenced itself as he watched Luna drop to the ground in front of him.
Discord was drawn out of memory by a sharp poke in his side. That was another funny thing about being petrified. You can still feel everything as if it were touching your skin. So when it got freezing cold or boiling hot, Discord was always in misery. He felt this familiar shock course through his body as Luna cast a spell on his statue, which was glowing with a blue light. Discord felt Luna's presence in his stone cage, slightly sad as usual.
Luna's small, sad voice rang out in the quiet garden. "Hello, you vine-eaten statue. We have come to visit the prisoner again." The slightly sad voice's taunt had made Discord chuckle mentally.
"Hello, you little moon muncher. How are you today?" Discord yelped in his mind as he felt a sharp pain on his leg. He looked down to see Luna biting his calf. Another effect of the spell, besides giving a mage power to talk to petrified creatures, was that it made his stone skin as soft as his normal flesh. Ouch! Biting hurts, you know. If you don't stop, I'll turn that precious moon of yours into cheese. Don't make me... He trailed off threateningly, knowing his threat would be ignored.
Luna pulled away, but not before biting him again. "And what is that you could possibly do, statue? You know very well that you cannot move a single part of your being. You cannot use magic in that stone prison of yours. We know these kinds of things, especially after being the ones to visit you for a few cycles of the moon." Discord sighed mentally again, and Luna's face lit up with a smile at his huffy attitude. He still couldn't figure out why she was always so happy to see him. Maybe it was because she, like him, and she was like him in a way, defeated by the elements of harmony and given a painful punishment to them.
I'm going to say real quickly that I might cut out because it's starting to rain here, but on to the reading again. Yep. Her presence in his mind was sickening. Always being so cheerful at being with him. He hated it. That another pony actually liked him. Of course, if he had his way, he would have sent her right back to the moon, but made of cheese instead of rocks. I bet every pony would love that. I mean, what's not to like about a cheese moon? He felt another nip as Luna flew up behind his ears, giggling as she nibbled on them. She enjoyed taking advantage of his inability to move, torturing him in different ways each visit. Discord wondered if she researched different methods of torment, because she always had something new for him. His mind jumped as he felt another pinch at the base of his skull. Luna smiled at his jump and pushed her hoof in harder, waiting for the words of submission. Discord stubbornly refused, clamping a mental hand over his mouth.
Luna, now laughing outright, placed her horn where her hooves had been and began digging even harder into his skin. It was all Discord could do from crying out the words she thought. But he would hold out a little longer to oppress her. Then he felt her teeth grip his ears again. "Uncle! I say uncle! Please stop it, Luna!" She ceased her digging immediately, flying around to face him again with a smile on her face.
"I win again, statue." The laughter in her voice was still there, but she lay down in front of him, suddenly serious. "Thank you, Discord, for everything." Discord mentally gagged, but his heart swelled at her heartfelt thanks. She detected his happiness, and she snuggled closer to him. Soon her breathing fell into a steady rhythm. The Princess of the Night had fallen asleep next to the Statue of Chaos. Unable to sleep, Discord fell back into his memories.
Discord's mind was blank, dumbstruck as she cried in front of him, all of her sadness unleashing itself in one flood of tears. He was surprised at the lack of his usual urge to dump something on her, or to make her mad in some way. Her tears began to pool around her, sparkling in the light of the sun and running through the many different tracks that the animals of the garden had made. None of them were present in this garden, thanks to a spell Celestia had cast over this particular part. She didn't want any of her precious menagerie to get attacked by the mean old statue.
Discord watched as she wiped away her tears, looking up at him with sad eyes. "Why didn't you get a second chance like we did?" She nuzzled him on the leg, and he shivered at her cold touch. He felt her tears begin to slide slowly down his leg, and he had the sudden urge to give her a comforting touch on her mane. He attempted to move away from that thought. That kind of mushiness was against his very nature. He loved seeing Pony sad, and yet Luna's sadness brought him nothing but pain. Discord wanted nothing more than to hum a lullaby for her, so that she could fall into the world of dreams, but the stone prevented him from speaking.
Suddenly, Luna looked up at him with resolve in her eyes. She leaned closer to him and nuzzled his cheek. She flapped her deep blue wings and launched herself into the air, heading towards the Royal Library. Discord watched her as she flew away, her tears shining like drops of liquid moonlight in the sun.
She returned shortly, an ancient-looking spellbook held in her blue magical grip. Discord couldn't make out the title's name through the blue sparkling haze, and he tried to move away from Luna. Of course, he couldn't in stone. She began chanting a spell, her horn throwing off sparks of magical energy as she channeled the energy needed for the spell. He forced himself to look the other way, and he felt a sharp horn jabbed into his side as he shivered, and he felt Luna's sad presence enter his mind.
Her voice sounded throughout the quiet garden. Discord, art thou present?
Yes, Luna, I'm here.
Luna was the cause of his resurfacing to the world of reality. She stirred in her sleep, sighing contentedly at his feet. She had no idea how adorable she looked when she slept. Of course, Discord always felt the urge to wake her up by pouring chocolate milk all over her, but he couldn't achieve that in his stoned state. He wheezed with mental laughter at his own joke. Oh, that's a good one. I guess I'm stoned, eh? Oh, Celestia, that's hilarious.
As if his mental laughter had been voiced, Luna opened her eyes slowly. Blinking the sleep from her eyes, she looked into the sky and saw her sister's sun beginning to descend from the sky. Shaking off the last vestiges... Is that how you pronounce it? Vestiges? Vestiges? Vestiges, I was right. Oh. Vestiges of her rest, she shot up into the sky, flying towards the royal court to relieve her sister of her duties. Discord sighed in his thoughts as she watched her fly away. Not even a goodbye. Humph! She comes into my garden, tortures me, then goes to sleep under me, and then she flies off without a simple goodbye. I'll get her back for that one day. He lapsed into his normal thoughts of chaos as he devised a way to get back at the rude princess.
The night passed quickly, almost as if Luna had tried to speed the moon across the sky to end her duty and hurry to be back in the garden to torture him again. The sun had broke through the darkness and washed over his statue with rays of warmth. He didn't particularly like the way the sisters did everything by a timetable, always raising the sun or moon at the exact same moments every single time. I mean, what pony doesn't like to have a little variety in their lives? He mentally shook his head. It just doesn't make sense to me. He made a mental note to ask Luna today about what she thought of it. He knew Luna didn't always share her older sister's views of the world all the time, and she might have a different opinion. Of course, if I'd asked Celestia, she would tell me, if we didn't keep our schedules, every pony would be distressed, and blah, 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 something like that. Discord shook his head inside his stone prison again, sighing at Celestia's formal attitude. That pony needs to lighten up. Seriously.